When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. And during this service, you are encouraged to consider what you would be wishing upon a star and see about bringing it to fruition. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Santa Cruz County. My name is Reverend Terra Collier-Young, and I am the affiliated community minister with this congregation. I have created a community ministry that I named Five Seeds Ministry, and if you want to learn more about it, come see me after the service. Serving with me today is our worship associate, the lovely Laura Lewandowski, and our wonderful choir director, Gail Swain, fabulous guest musician, Robert Hansen, and our tech is attended by Allison Sillers, and our new member and new green around the ears tech assistant is Sebastian Royer. And the rooms were set up in this lovely configuration by our caretaker, Arturo and Anna Harkin. We are blessed to have this collaborative effort come together for this Yule service, with which I am deeply grateful. And so for you at home, please be sure that you have your altar items together, so when we sing Deck the Halls, you can create your own beauty. Unitarian Universalism is a religious tradition that strives toward social justice as a spiritual practice. It is a religious tradition that honors the sacred spark within each and every heart. And it reveres the divine nature of the natural world and earth in her entirety, with love at the center. So to set this container for this morning, let's contemplate one of the UU values and covenant of interdependence. We honor the interdependent web of all existence. We covenant to cherish earth and all beings by creating and nurturing relationships with care and respect. With humility and reverence, we acknowledge our place in the great web of life, and we work to repair harm and damaged relationships. And my personal favorite is the source of direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder, which moves us to a renewal of spirit and openness to the forces which create and uphold life. This is a time when we like to welcome guests. And thank you for carving out time to be here today. I hope that your experience this morning will be satisfying to your soul. If you feel comfortable doing so, and admittedly, it's not necessarily a comfortable thing to do, but you are invited to stand and tell us your name and where you are from, that we may greet you with a warm welcome. So anybody willing? Good morning, everybody.
I'm Jordan Ingalls Rose, also living up in Boulder Creek.
I'm Jennifer McSorley. I'm from Santa Cruz, but originally from Northern California, Woodland area.
Okay, welcome. And for folks on, please type your name and your location in chat, and you will be greeted there. Winter solstice is that time of year when light is born out of the womb of winter's darkness, when the sun appears to stand still in its south-leaning arc across the sky. Rituals for honoring the sacred dark have been with humankind since the dawn of civilization, We celebrate by sharing resources like food and cloth and other necessary items. We sing songs to each other and keep each other warm in mind, body, and spirit. The word Yule comes from the Old Norse word spelled J-O-L, which refers to a festival, and it is likely the origin of the word jolly. Yule tradition involves burning a large log in the hearth, and it symbolizes the return of the sun's strength, and it is believed to bring good luck. Humans really like to imbue things with, this is going to bring me good luck. Makes us happy. So this morning, we're going to celebrate Yule California style.
It's no secret that Christmas carols often started out as solstice songs before Christianity spread throughout Western Europe. The ancient Celts not only took care of the trees and plants of their islands, but honored them like kings or even deities. And each plant had a different meaning. The plants that stayed green in the winter cold were venerated most of all in their songs. The holly and ivy were used as symbols for the men and women of these tribes, respectively. The carol Gail and I are about to sing was a classic battle of the sexes, where the men and women would insist they wore the crown as the holly and the ivy until one side won out. And of course, the holly has wore the crown over the centuries. Since I was the one to reconstruct these lyrics, I wanted to make sure ivy got her due and give both plants crowns to wear on this longest night.
The holly and the ivy, when they are both full grown, of all the trees that are in the wood, these two shall bear the crown. The rising of the sun and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organ, sweet singing in the choir. The holly bears a berry as red as any blood, and ivy bears the greenest leaves to weave a springtime hood. The rising of the sun and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organ, sweet singing in the choir. The holly bears a bark as bitter as the gall, but ivy bears a nectar sweet to temper winter's thrall. The rising of the sun and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organ, sweet singing in the choir.
As a child, my evening prayers often included the couplet by Dorothy Parker, "Starlight, star bright, the first star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might, have the wish I wish tonight."
Sorry.
It's okay, we can sing it. This would be followed by a very long list of wishes, as a child's wish list could be. Some completely impractical, some reasonable. Some came true and many did not, and probably just as well. Wishing upon a star is a beautiful metaphor for prayer. There is something so profound about gazing up into the vast night sky, marveling at the Milky Way, and to quote Carl Sagan, those billions and billions of stars. Planets, galaxies, constellations, and clusters have fascinated humankind since the beginning of awareness. It is a continuum that we have with our ancestors now. In a way, it reminds us how small and humble we are, yet like a breath and heartbeat, we are an intricate part of this whole. Being in awe of nature is a natural condition in the human way. So imagine for a moment with me the atom at the absolute center of Earth as the starting point for all earthly existence. From there, life force energy exponentially, energetically, concentrically radiates out to the far wide reaches of the ever-expanding universe, all the way out to infinity and beyond. Thank you, Buzz Lightyear. Much is said about prayer in poetry, in scriptures, and in verse, and many religions insist on this adoration and petition and gratitude for their God. As a UU, I'm a heretic, one who chooses, and I choose to pray. I have an understanding about it that is informed by the mystery tradition of Wicca paganism. I believe in an engaged, alive, listening, and responsive universal life spirit, one that permeates all matter. I have faith that this universal life spirit animates matter into life as energy, as symbiosis, as vibration, attraction, sensual and sexual, the ruach of the primordial breath, creating the heartbeat that connects all of existence in this interdependent web. The culmination of this web is nicely described in the axiom, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. The incredible vastness of the universe in its entirety is a composition that is way beyond most human understanding, and that's okay. Humans are naturally curious, and in the realm of physics, there are several approaches that have been identified and theorized. For instance, the inquiry about whether energy is a wave or a particle. And there's quantum physics, there's Bell's theorem and non-locality, something called the Hono movement, the tangle of string theory, and the question, is the universe a hologram? And of course, I'm not a scientist, nor a physicist. I'm a theologian, and I'm a pagan, and I greatly appreciate these approaches and the desire to figure things out. And like my experience with algebra and other mathematics, I comprehend the concepts as someone is describing them to me and when I see diagrams, but it doesn't stick. And so that's okay. I'm okay with that. Yet some of these theories that I appreciate, one in particular is quantum experiences, have confirmed what many pagans have intuited for thousands of years. All parts of the universe, from the smallest to the largest, are alive and have a spark of intelligence, and that the universe communicates, responds, and shares information instantaneously among all parts of itself. And I am particularly fond of synchronicity. In my life, I have experienced countless seemingly improbable circumstances that come together in tremendous and meaningful ways. My first visit to the fellowship comes to mind. It is the universe telling me that I am at the right place, at the right time, doing the right thing. It is a cosmic affirmation. All this to say, there is tremendous power in prayer. actually in everything we think and say. The universe is listening. And when we think something is going to happen, for better or for worse, several things fall into place. We have set a concept in motion through the quantum field, and because people lean towards confirmation bias, we look for and encourage ways for things that we believe to be true. And whether it is something that we want that is life-affirming, even something that we loathe to happen, like these cliches. Where attention goes, energy flows. Or, what we think about, we bring about. And then, of course, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. So I have a winter solstice suggestion, actually a request. On one of these long nights, bundle up and go outside. Breathe in that cool, crisp air and feel it on your cheeks. Be a being amongst beingness. Not an evaluating human, but an essence of spirit that moves through and within you, permeable and transient and intrinsic. Take this experience as a life-affirming prayer bestowed in relationship with the universe. Here you are, breath and heartbeat of this magnificent existence. And while you're there, perhaps an act of prayer would be a possibility. You could offer appreciation and gratitude. And if there is something that needs a petition, something that needs to be asked for, a vision that would enjoy having company and encouragement, this is also a good time to ask, raw and honest. So I will finish this message with a poem by Jan Richardson called Blessing for the Longest Night. All throughout these months, as the shadows have lengthened, this blessing has been gathering itself, making ready, preparing for this night. It has practiced walking in the dark, traveling with its eyes closed, feeling its way by memory and by touch, by the pool of the moon, even as it wanes. So believe me when I tell you, this blessing will reach you, even if you not have light enough to read it. It will find you, even though you cannot see it coming. You will know the moment of its arriving by the release of that breath long held, by the loosening of the clenched hands and the clutch around your heart, a thinning of the darkness that had drawn itself around you. This blessing does not mean to take the night away, but it knows its hidden roads. It knows the resting spots along the path. It knows what it means to travel in the company of a friend. So when the blessing comes, take its hand. Get up. Set out on the road you cannot see. This is the night when you can trust that any direction you go, you will be walking toward dawn. Blessed be.